So the other day, I was walking inside of a Hobby Lobby, and I was like, this looks familiar. And then I was just continued walking, and I thought, wait a minute, this looks like a Kmart. So I did the most ethical thing that anybody would do. I went to every single former Kmart in my town to see exactly what has changed. All in one day. Do not try this at home, trust me. Hello everybody, welcome to Lost Places, and today I went to almost every former Kmart in Chattanooga. Now, you may be wondering, what do you mean almost? Yeah, I know, I didn't go to the one in Red Bank, didn't feel like it. Anyway, I have a timeline here which will be going from the newest to the oldest. So the newest building that we will be looking at today was a Kmart that was built in the year 1995. This Kmart remained open until 2018 during the bankruptcy, and it closed down permanently and was turned into Gabe's, Ollie's Bargain Outlet, and Home Outlet. So that was all that was put in there, and let's go ahead and look inside this building. And this is quite obvious. This is a place called Home Outlet. They sell kitchens, baths, floor, and more. Drop ceilings back, baby. And this one is a bit different. Yet again, they buffered out the floors quite a bit to where in certain areas, but you can still kind of see where the old tiles used to be. Nice high ceilings for a Kmart, I mean. So let's see if we can find anything. The ceilings are probably the most Kmart looking at things here. But this is not the only part of the building that's Kmart. You think, just because this is the original entrance doesn't mean this is all that the Kmart was. This is actually really small. Because if this was originally Kmart, I would be able to walk directly through this wall. Here we are, we're at the second store in the same store, basically. You can see where they added the entranceway there, and they just chopped a hole in it. You can see the old design right there. Hey. So, they really buffed out the spot where the tiles used to be here. But this one, I think we're gonna see the most parallels to the original here. Same old ceiling. There you can kind of see where the aisles were. Here we have the old tiles from the entrance to the bathroom. I'm gonna assume this is the original entrance. So that means this is the original bathroom. I'm gonna assume the old cart return was right here. See that there? Either that was put there by Ollie's or it was not. So, who would have guessed they would have had clothes? I mean, actually, that would be a great idea if Ollie's sold clothes. That would be cool, man. Hey, Ollie's, be taking notes. Love your stores, except these tacky little things. Up to 70% off every day. That sounds like a store closing sale. When this place first opened, you'd probably see stuff from a bankrupt Kmart here when this first opened. Because, like I said, they take bankruptcies. So, we did it. Y'all, we're going to Gabe's. The final one, and this one in particular. Unfortunately, none of these have the tiles. They don't know where it's at. Ceiling, I'm noticing, has been very consistent. This was the original changing rooms. Areas here. Here you can see the old tile marks. Ceiling, same consistent. Tiles, 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 tiles everywhere. That's nice. That's nice. Sick. Anyway, I think here at Gabe's, that's really all. I think we're done here at Gabe's. We've seen, and I think that is the layaway. We've seen the garden center. Next thing I do want to check out is the garden center from the outside, and then we'll move on. Zoom in. Yeah, they just removed it from existence. Alrighty, next on our timeline is our second one, which was built in the year 1992. This one remained open for 11 years and then closed in 2003. It was turned not too long afterward into Fresh Market and Hobby Lobby. Eventually, Gabe's would come into near the garden center, and in 2023, Gabe's moved to another location at the old Stein Market. Gabe's was eventually turned into BioLife Plasma Services, and the garden shop was converted into a place called Nadiu, which is a furniture store. I did not go into the plasma place or the Nadiu. For one, I didn't feel like it. It was one of the last places we went to, and second of all, I didn't want to go to the BioLife place anyway. But the Hobby Lobby does still kind of look like the Kmart if you go inside. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at that one. Now we must go to the original entrance to the Kmart. So without further ado, let's head inside. Wow, they changed this around a lot. This is probably the least original out of any of the ones we filmed today. And I say that for sure. Like, I'm for sure this is... Hey, this was the original Kmart? Wow. You would never be able to tell now. Although the aesthetics of this store are very cool. This almost has a very 70s era, like, design to it. With the wooden paneling on the walls and stuff. The very darker color. And along with these freezers here are very 1970s. Besides that, this is a pretty shorter video. Alrighty, y'all. Hobby Lobby. I think these are the original ceilings, though. No, we've seen a lot of that lately. It's not. Still a really big store as well. It's not the one I'm used to. And this wall right here is not the original wall. Did I just find the back rooms? Recently went to Joann Fabrics and Crafts for a video. That one will be linked in the description below, and we saw some stuff there. I don't think there's anything really much here that is anything similar, besides the fact that, heck, the place still looks like one. Next on the timeline is 1981. This is kind of like the predecessor of the one that we just looked at. It was built in 1981 and closed in 1992. Yet again, it was open for 11 years. This one was turned into a place called Rush Fitness, Providence Thrift Stores, and Greg Marshall's Arts Academy. And the garden shop was turned into a place called Rain Thai Bistro. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that, but I don't care. It was closed at some point in 1992 when it was replaced by the one that we just filmed. They did do an addition to the back half of the building, which was at near the garden center. But I didn't go inside this one. I probably could have, but I didn't go inside this one. So without further ado, let's look at the footage. So here we have another one. Since there's nothing I could really get in, maybe besides that thrift store, you can't really get inside this one, but it was just an old Kmart. And there's the old sign. Oh gosh, you can't even see it. Yeah, there's the old sign right there. That's all of that one. Moving next down the timeline, I actually already did a full video on this one. Link to that will be in the description below. But this one was also built in 1981, and it was turned into B&B Discounts in 2009. After a 29-year run, it was turned into B&B Discounts. If you actually go on Google Maps, it still says B&B Discounts is there, but they actually moved to another location. So if you want to go to this one, you can't really. Except in 2019, whenever B&B Discounts moved out, Tractor Supply Company did move into one part of the building, but not the main part of the building. I did not go into the Tractor Supply part in the original video or in this video. So, if you want to go there, either travel all the way here to get there, or just look on Google. They have some pictures. I might put some in anyway. So, I did not go inside that one, so without further ado, let's go and look at that one. A Kmart. This was another place called B&B Discount, but it was basically Kmart inside. So you can't see very much. It's the only thing you can really see through. You can kind of see through that door. Let's see, is there any other windows? Let's just see through. Looks like unsold merchandise or something from the store. Trash. It's a lot of trash everywhere. And then another door. So it looked like somebody tried to break into from down there. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to open that. And then as you can see where they repainted that side, that's where it's Tractor Supply, which is interesting. Moving further down the timeline, we have 1977. Now this one was open for 36 years until it closed in 2013. It remained abandoned for the next 2 years, and then it was turned into Mount Cannon Church. In 2023, Purpose Point Learning Academy moved into another portion of the school and into another portion of the building. Fun fact, they actually converted the garden center into the playground, which is just hilarious to me. I don't know. Just thought that was a random fact. We didn't get the chance to go around here because somebody came and said, hey, we don't want you to be filming on the property, which I respect that. You know, I'm fine with that, so we left the building, we left the area and stuff, and we went to the next one on our list. So here's that one little footage of that. They also have some pictures inside, so, I mean, it wasn't that big a deal. I don't know. So this is one of the final ones we're going to be looking at today. We got the Mount Cannon Church. I just left Taco Bell about 10 minutes ago, and now we're here. And this is pretty interesting in the retail world because it's a Kmart that's been turned into a church, and that's something you don't see. And yet again, I really doubt we'll be getting inside this one. But there's also an old Kroger. You can see the
head northeast.
Sorry. Let me just. Next on the list is one that's very sentimental to me because it was my local Kmart. This one closed in the year 2017 during the bankruptcy and sat abandoned for 3 years until Extreme Air Adventure Park came in 2020. And later it became a Big Lots that same year. Actually, I did not go to the Big Lots or the Extreme Air Mega Park because first you have to pay, and the Big Lots is closed for obvious reasons. They're actually going to be reopening that Big Lots soon. That's a story for another video, though. But I did recently go to that Big Lots and film it while it was closing, so I'm going to use some of that footage. Also, I'm going to use some of my footage from the 12-year-old birthday party so that you can kind of see what that little segment looks like. Here we are at the closing Big Lots in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. Just wanted to document what it looks like now, and it's also in the shopping center of an old Kmart. So that's, well, actually this was a part of the Kmart, so that's nice. There's no music, meaning I don't have to talk a lot. So yeah, I can smell the bathrooms from here. Hello there. Let's look in here. Look, there's the red stripe from Kmart. That's cool. I miss Kmart. But Alright, we're getting to the end of our timeline. We have the East Ridge location, which opened in 1970. And it turned into a Sears Essentials at some point, but I couldn't figure out when. Now, after a flood in 2009, Sears would sell it to Mother Goose because millions of dollars worth of damages were incurred to all of the items inside the store and the store itself. So eventually, though, the Mother Goose didn't last long, and it was turned into Garden Ridge and TNT Fireworks. Now, in 2017, that was turned into an at-home, which is what it is now, and the rest is history. So this one I thought was pretty interesting to film. Anyway, there's at home, so we're gonna be going inside right now. Well, this is the first time I've actually ever been here, knowing that it was a Kmart. It is obvious. So, I guess the first thing I'm gonna do is just look around. Old tile marks. That's something you might notice. It smells like at home. It doesn't smell like Kmart anymore, unfortunately. So, in this one, yeah, more tile marks. But this was a Sears. And I can kind of tell. Yeah, so this is, okay, there used to be a wall here, and then this here would have been the rooms where this is where all the behind the scenes stuff went on. So this is where the behind the scenes stuff would have been way back whenever this was Kmart, which is before the bankruptcy. And didn't know if you knew that. Lines. You could see where the tiles were. This is quite obvious. Tile marks. So yep, you can see where the walls used to be. All pretty generic stuff. Pretty normal. I gotta get over. I like music. But sometimes, it copyrights a thing, and yeah. Old tile marks. And it stretches, so you can see this is where the old store used to be. And it would stretch out until right there. So they probably destroyed layaway. They really completely changed this, but they left the ceiling. This is peak Kmart here. I feel like I'm miles away. And, well, I found something. The old garden shop. The only thing, the drop ceilings here, those are here. And besides that, though, there's nothing much going back to when this was Kmart. And hopefully, in TNT Fireworks, we'll see a whole nother story. Yeah, this has the lighting. This has the same, yet again, a lot smaller, but you can still see the aesthetic. So here we have the original Kmart tiles from what I can tell. Also Sears brand. Alright, I'm gonna mention the Sears brand thing because that was a significant point. And they cleaned up where the old aisles used to be. Employees only little district here. Pretty nice little store. Now we'll just move on. Just a little the outside of that one, and then there's the original entrance, obviously. To think that there was that much space in that store was crazy, because that was already enough to fill a whole store, and then that's another store. So it's crazy to think that there was all that space still there. Finally, we've been walking for ages, and we found the garden center. Kind of see where it used to be. Actually, if you look back on Google Maps, you can see when this used to have windows. And then this would have been the Eddie Lampert prison yard. So yeah, that's really all for the garden center. That would have been the prison yard, but they just dug holes in the ground. So this is that Kmart. Now we'll move on to the next one, which is interesting as well. Finally, we made it to the end of our timeline. The oldest Kmart in my town. And this one was opened in 1969 and closed on February 9th, 1995. Remember that first one we looked at? That was actually the replacement for this one. Eventually, it would turn into Uncle Bob's Self-Storage and is currently a place called Life Storage. And I was just originally just going to go over there and film the outside a little bit, but one of the workers did invite me in, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. You did. Thank you very much for letting me see inside this piece of Chattanooga history. Without further ado, let's look at this one. The aesthetics are awesome. It still smelled and had that like mildewy Kmart smell inside. It was really cool. So this would have had the old Kmart logo, and these birds are distracting me. So that would have been the very old logo, showing picture now on the screen. Here's a good view of the outside. Today's the Get Outside Day. So there's the old Kmart right there. The entrance to the extra space storage is actually the original garden center. And if we look out to the side over here with all these boats and stuff, you could actually see the platform where the garden center used to come out right there. It was a lot smaller of a garden center, but I thought this was pretty cool. I don't think I'll be able to get inside, but just maybe one day, if I get a storage container, I'm gonna try to get it here. Yep, Uncle Bob's Storage. Wow, thank you so much. So we actually, I can't hear it. You probably can't hear me too well, but we were able to get inside, and wow, they got the drop ceiling still in here. I didn't expect to be getting inside this one, okay? So, wow. So, we got all the old flooring here, and this is probably the closest we're gonna get to going back into a Kmart in 2025 at this point, because they didn't change much at all. This one I am going to kind of give a store tour, but they use the entire original. So this is the first Kmart in Chattanooga, and I've already explained all of this probably in the studio, but this is what I call history here, Chattanooga history. Also, yeah. What is this? What is that? Replacement tiles, or is that intentional? Ceilings are quite low. So, just wanted to look around a little bit. They have the buy-low off floors. I do feel like I'm in a backrooms level or whatever. Uncle Bob Storage. It hasn't been Uncle Bob Storage in a long time, but that's what I last saw it as, so. Where am I? Pretty dark in certain areas. It's thankfully quiet, so I don't have to do copyright and stuff. I guess like they had like shelves coming out here, and that's where the shelf would have been when they didn't put tiles down there. So Yeah. That's that. Oh yeah, for sure. Honestly, this alone is pretty cinematic. Reminds me of that one scene from the Minecraft movie. Alright, thank you very much for watching this video. Please click in the description below, watch some of the videos I referenced in this video. Also, just, you know, subscribe and stuff. Do the subscribe stuff. And, subscribe. I know you want to.